My name is Omar Khan. I'm born and raised in Montreal, Canada. My father's from Pakistan and my mother's from Guyana, which is in South America. I'm 27 years old. I'm an accountant by profession. I'm a financial manager. Um, to be honest, whether I live in Pakistan, Guyana, Canada, I don't really notice much of a difference in terms of myself. Obviously, people look different and have different likes, different cricket teams, different types of mango drinks, but the reality is all of us are just people. So for me, I just notice everybody as individuals. Well, at the end of the day, I mean, I was born and raised in Canada and Montreal specifically, and so I definitely identify very closely to the community here in Montreal, as well as being, a Canadian. Yes, I'm from Pakistan from my dad's side and Guyana from my mom's side, but the reality is I am Canadian. I enjoy hockey. I like a lot of things that Canada likes, and I identify myself a lot as more of a Canadian person than anything else. Of course, I mean, the religion and culture have differences, and even the way that a religion is usually acted out in different countries or different regions is a bit different. So for me, what I try and do is my religion is more my identity than any country is for me, because that's what I believe in, right? It's my belief system. And so for me, that's kind of like the guiding light for what I do in life and how I act. If my religion tells me, teaches me to be a good person, I'll do that. If it teaches me to do certain things, then I'll always do that. And as long as my culture doesn't go against my religion, then I'm happy being a Pakistani Muslim. Yeah, of course. I mean, one of the things that's in the culture is very popular is, of course, marrying people from the same culture, the same country. And even just in terms of likes, a lot of people are very big on their specific, let's say, cricket teams or whatnot. And I'm the type of person that, for me, I don't try and become super nationalistic or anything like that, although I support my country, of course. But I believe that, like, when it comes to marrying someone, that it should be based on other things, not just the country someone was born in or where they're from. Yeah, well, I mean, in Guyana, there's a lot of different things that happen over there. And of course, one of them is that, of course, people drink alcohol, for example, and my religion says that we don't drink alcohol. So in that case, there's obviously a clash with that. But I have a lot of friends that, for example, drink alcohol, and I have no problem with that. But just for me, myself, I wouldn't actually go and drink it. And I guess that'd be an example of a difference. There is, but I would say that probably being Muslim and Canadian has like the least amount of clashes than being Guyanese and Muslim or Pakistani and Muslim, because the country we live in here is very, very open. It's very diverse. It's very multicultural. So over here, like, my teachers would always let me pray. For example, my boss never had a problem with me growing a beard or anything like that. So for me, I haven't really noticed too much of a difference. There are obviously small things, as are mentioned, as I mentioned, with alcohol or with other things, but at the end of the day, no, there's not been so much of a clash between my religion and the culture we have here in Canada or Montreal. I think everyone goes through feeling a bit out of place. Even someone that's born and raised in Montreal will feel out of place. And obviously, coming from a different country or different background, even though I was born here, you still do feel it. Like, there's always situations where you'll feel like the odd person out. If everybody is going, for example, to a party or to a club and you're not able to go, you feel a bit different. Right, especially in high school and college, when people are much more active and there's a lot of social interactions. But I think that, over time it becomes something that it is easier to deal with. And it is something that, as long as you have a good group of friends with you and people that are like nice and accepting, then things go a lot better. I find a lot of times in the society, people are too shy and they kind of stay by themselves. And I think that if you come from a different background or a different country and you stay by yourself a lot, you're going to feel out of place a lot. Sometimes you just have to take a risk, meet new people, speak, smile a little bit more, and I think at that point is when everything just starts coming together. I think that what's beautiful about being Canadian is that there's no one way of defining it, right? Being Canadian has a lot to do with being a person that's born and raised in Canada. Right, and I think that that's a big part of it, is just who you are as individuals, right? A lot of times people try and define countries or regions by certain rules and certain laws or certain norms that they think are supposed to be the norms, but I think that the different individuals are the best to define it, and all of us are different. Everybody has a different image of Canada. For some people, it's playing hockey on ice. For other people, it's playing basketball in the summer. For some other people, it's going to a nice movie in winter. So for everyone, they have a different way of defining what it is to be a Canadian. And for me, it's the same thing. For me, being Canadian is just about living in a beautiful country, being with my family, having great friends, and enjoying myself. Well, I just believe that, like, specifically being in Montreal, one of the biggest advantages and one of the coolest things is the fact that there are so many different cultures. When you grow up and you go to school here, you see people from so many different areas and so many different places, and it's really, really a great benefit to learn and to hear about their customs and their cultures. And what's really cool is that we always teach each other to respect every different culture, every different practice. And think that's very rare, that if you grow up in different countries, or even in Canada in different areas, people will never see someone wearing a hijab. Someone will never see someone wearing a turban. Someone will never see somebody that, for example, does something religiously differently or does something culturally differently. But in Montreal, you have everywhere, every street corner, you'll find a different restaurant. And I think that's really beautiful about the city.